Hello, hello, hello. 8:05 p.m. on night 2 out of 3 for Diamonds Uncut. I'm Xtina Harmsworth. I am elated, supercharged actually, to be here with you tonight. I've been excited all day long. I've been actually excited for 2 weeks to teach this, to share this, to hold this space, to be here with you. I'm really over the moon. There's so many things that I want to say tonight, and I want to pick up where we left off last night. And if you're newer to my world, or if you missed the first night, it's totally okay. There's definitely still the replay available of that, but I don't want to recap what we did yesterday. I just want to pick up. And whether you watched the first night or you didn't, you're still going to be able to get so much out of this because it's principles based. So if you're live, if you can hashtag the words principles based, that's going to be really important for you to understand about this space. Now, you're in a free community with me. It's called the XMH Empire, and I created this space along with my team to have a home base for women to come to be inspired, motivated, understood, seen, where women could come to binge watch content, binge watch masterclasses, and really be amongst the greats, amongst their peers, in a space where they can really truly be held as women, as entrepreneurs, some as mothers, some as friends. Wherever you are, whatever stage in your life, we wanted to create an intentional space for you to come in and thrive. So if you're newer to this space, I want to welcome you. There's new people that have joined just in the last 24 hours. Welcome, welcome, welcome. If you're new, you can hashtag new. If you're an OG, you can say OG. I so appreciate all those of you who have been with me for literally years and have watched the evolution and are like, what the heck did you do? And others of you who are fresh to my world and noticing that there's something about our empire that everything that we touch seems to just turn to gold. And you're curious about that. So tonight I want to pick up on a principles-based teaching that's available for especially women entrepreneurs. Our focus this month for the free experience that you're in right now, the free masterclass, Diamonds Uncut, our focus is really for women entrepreneurs. Now, we host things for all different categories of women, but this one was for the entrepreneurs. So if you have a biz bestie that you feel should be here, I would invite you to tag them, invite them into the space, let them know about it. And I also want to say a huge thank you to everyone who shared the graphic about this experience. It means the world. Your trust means a whole ton. Because I know that it's a lot for you to share my face and our message with your audience, and so it means the world. So I just want to say thank you if you shared the graphic, or if you invited a friend, or you told someone about this space and this free experience. And tonight I want to go even deeper on some principle-based stuff about entrepreneurship, because there's been nothing more healing to me, to be quite frank, than to know that I often feel like, and I have felt like, I was a diamond in the making. I've had people call me things like, a $1 billion baby, when I couldn't even see past multiple six figures. I've had people say so many crazy things to me about what they saw in me, and there were times when I couldn't shore up the gap between what people saw in me and what I was experiencing, because I was in the making of a diamond. And some of you have that going on, where you've seen visions of your future, or people have made statements to you about where you're going and what you're made of and the potential that they see in you. And you're just like, I want to believe that so bad. And also, this is really, really, really hard. Does anyone resonate with that? There's also a huge message within the business mentorship and coaching industry right now of people who have become a diamond. I don't mean some weird score of, I don't mean diamond in terms of you've up-leveled in your brand and you're a diamond status of something, or you're a diamond Visa card holder. I mean a freaking diamond. I'm talking about a diamond. The process of becoming a diamond. and people who have become something legendary, it's easy right now in the coaching industry for them to say it gets to be easy. And I felt a broad disconnect between the words "it gets to be easy" that have been touted in the coaching industry this past couple years and my own experience. I've often wondered what I was missing. And the truth that I want to share with you over tonight and tomorrow and last night is that if you're really someone who is a legend in the making, an icon in the making, a diamond in the rough, it's not that it ever gets to be easy. It's that you become unbreakable. There's a big difference in that message, wouldn't you say? It's that you become the type of legend. You become the type of woman. You become the type of human that when things that would break the average person come to visit, it's just another day for you because you're resilient. You're resilient. Heat doesn't break you. Being cut doesn't break you. Pressure cannot break you. You become sparkling and resilient in the face of the craziest circumstances, and people will wonder how you do it. And it will become just another day. But I want to talk about the making of a diamond because this is, I think, the part that's been skipped a little bit. And you can tell me if that lands, but I feel like it's skipped a little bit and it's bypassed a little bit. I do feel a little spiritual bypassing by that comment, like, it gets to be easy. Making money gets to be easy. I'm like, can we tell the whole truth? Like, if you catch what I'm saying about that, you can hashtag whole truth, like the whole truth. Sometimes I want to say, like, can you just tell the whole truth instead of creating this polarity within people and self-doubt that they must be doing something horribly wrong because it's challenging for them right now? Can you just explain the process? And that has been my goal for last night, tonight, and tomorrow. I want to show you principle-based. I want to share real-life experiences. I want to help you understand the process. I want to encourage you if you are literally a diamond in the making. Maybe you're $1 million baby, but you're in the process, and so it doesn't feel like it. So if this is landing for you, I just want to kind of explain to you how I roll. I'm a huge responder, and so if you drop comments, if you interact with me, I literally, my human design loves that energy. The more you give, the more I give. And I came in here fired up, so like we're already on a freaking great trajectory, like an amazing trajectory, but the more you give here, the more you comment, the better and the more fun it's gonna be. I do have a favorite emoji. It's the lightning bolt. I typically even have like lightning bolt earrings in. Like I'm a big fan of energy. So if you wanna drop me some lightning bolts, if you're ready to actually crack into the content, because that was just the intro. If anything that I say during our time together gives you like major vibes, drop me lightning bolts, and I'm gonna open up on my phone. I'm actually gonna open this up so that I can see the comments because I can't see them here, and there's already 52. There you go, there you go. Oh, I see the lightning bolts, I see Tahani, I see Ray Ray, Linda, Jordan, India Ellerby, Mama Indy. Let's see, Abigail. Oh my gosh. Abigail Rose Burton said, I've spent years at times asking myself why it's so difficult. People are hashtagging the whole truth. Okay. Jordan said, can we see the dress? You can. I'll take a full length when I'm off of here. So every night I'm going to wear a different dress from a different time period in the making of a diamond. So this particular dress is also part of my story. Last night I wore the dress from the night that we launched our makeup company, which was my first $1 million baby, was a makeup brand that my husband and I co-founded, and we did the product development and all the things for, right? So fun. Tennille, I'm in the bathtub with Tennille. We have a joke within like all my coaching clients that I shower with my clients. So I literally ran 4 masterminds this year, and I have a joke that I shower with my clients because I take my phone in the shower a lot of the time, and I'm listening in on my masterminds and responding in the bath. So it's a joke. I'm like, I know I've showered with you. You've definitely showered with me. Looks like I'm taking a bath tonight with Tennille. So I'm here for it, girl. I hope the bubbles are great. Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. She's like, I'm here chilling. It's good. Okay. So principles. I want to talk about the making of a diamond because women love them and men spend a whole lot of money on them. And they're a significant marker of occasions when it's time for a reward, a gift. It's like the diamond tennis bracelet. It's the diamond ring. It's the diamond pendant, the diamond necklace. They're markers of significance. So if you're live, write markers of significance. They hold significance. And I know that you can lab create diamonds, but I'm not talking about that. I mean like a real rare diamond. Their rarity creates their value. Significant, rare, valuable. That's a diamond. Significant, rare, unbreakable, tested, sought after, high value. That's a diamond. And so in this month's experience, I'm drawing parallels between the making of a woman entrepreneur, and I mean one that goes the whole way, and a diamond that's rare and valuable, sought after, paid for. So many people have watched my journey over the last couple of years, and I'm not a stranger to sharing the milestones along with the struggles, because I like to keep it really real. But people have watched me go from like nothing to, my first 6-figure year, and then to milestones like $20,000 and $30,000 months, which was to me unreal. I remember setting the intention for that while living in my friend's basement. I remember watching something called the Brainathon with John Assaraf and some other like man coaches. And I remember setting the intention, living in someone else's basement and writing down like I want to make $30,000 a month. Like that would just be the dream. In a season of pressure, I remember writing that down, and you guys have watched it happen. And some of you have known me long enough that you've watched the whole journey to like my first 6-figure year, and then to multi 6-figure years, and then a $500,000 year. And then this year we did $1 million in sales. Closing in on $1 million cash might happen, might not. The dream, how cool. But a lot of people have been like, what happened? Like you shot up so fast. What happened? Because really, it's been since about 2019 that things really went. That's a short amount of time. My team and I were laughing yesterday on a VIP call with my mastermind. We were laughing about the first graphic that I ever made. I wonder if I could find it. The first graphic that I ever made for a masterclass. Does anyone want to see it before I go dig it up? Like, we were laughing. My first paid micro course was in 2019. So we're only in 2022. It was in 2019, and I was like, I had just made a $500,000 mistake. in business. I had made a $500,000 mistake in business. That traveled over the course of about 3 years, but I made a $500,000 mistake, and it was in pricing and profits. I didn't know how to price stuff. And I remember being like, well, damn, that's the class I think women entrepreneurs could use. Like, does anyone teach a class about profitability? Because if so, like I take radical responsibility, but I must have missed that damn class because I've been in business since 2015. We talked about that last night. Incorporated the brand. First 3 years in business, not profitable. A $500,000 mistake. Woo! That was fun. Talk about pressure. Yeah. Okay, let me fish out this graphic Jesse shared it this morning inside of our mastermind. Let me dig it up. So my first graphic, this is how fast this has gone. Let me pull up $1 Million Mastermind. Let me pull up this graphic. Okay. This was the first graphic that I made for a masterclass just about 3 short years ago. Ready? Here goes. You see my graphics today. This was my graphic 3 years ago. This was my first graphic for a business thing. I'm wearing a Glam Babe t-shirt from my beauty brand, and it's a thought bubble and me scratching my head and asking the question, is this shit profitable? First graphic. About 3 short years ago. That was my first graphic. Okay, just for comparison, have you seen the graphic for this experience? Have you seen the one at the top of this group? Diamonds Uncut with the sparkles and the diamond ring and the champagne glass and all the things. When I say we've skyrocketed, we have come so far so fast. So far so fast. And people are like, what the hell did you do? The up level has been unreal. And I want to just peel back the layers and just be really real about what this has been like. And it has been the making of a diamond. So like last night I was talking about this concept of like at the beginning of your experience of becoming a proverbial diamond, the very first bit of it is like you start as carbon. So we are carbon. We little human beings, we're like carbon, right? And you start as carbon and the element of carbon is then buried. So my little eyes teared up last night talking about this concept of feeling like you're buried. Like you're invisible, you're not being seen, your voice is not being heard, your gifts have not been developed. You don't even know what the path is. You have an inkling of what you could become. People keep on telling you that you're made for more. And you're like, I feel it. It's in there. And also, how is this ever going to happen? Because like, we start as carbon, sorry. It's that Michigan accent. It will never go away. That's funny, Raven. It's like you start your entrepreneurial journey and you're just in comparison mode because you're like, I see these diamonds who have already been made. They've made it. And I'm down here feeling invisible. And hard as I might try, like everything that I think is going to work has not yet worked so far. So that's cool. And while you're buried, the proverbial diamond, while you're buried in the ground and you're invisible and your gifts are just starting to crop up and you're just starting to become an inkling of what's to be, then the pressure. I told crazy stories yesterday about the beginning of our journey, the pressure. The pressure is unreal. But the thing is, you want to be a diamond? This is how you can tell who's a diamond and who's not a diamond. It's a pressure test. It's a strength test. My husband and I have been talking about this. It's like we always talk at night while we're making dinner and hanging out. We talk about just like the big things of life, like just big picture. We were talking about this TV show that we're watching right now. I think it's called like, I don't know, 1812 or 19 something, 1776. I don't even know. It's some number. And it's about like people who settled in Montana. And we were talking about how literally like the question of legacy families is like, it's a game of who can outlast the pressure. So if you're live, you can hashtag the game. You want to be a diamond, you're going to go through pressure to become unbreakable. It's part of the process. So principle number 1, you start as elements, carbon, right? Everyone has this. And this is the thing that I taught in Iconic today for my private clients. It's like everyone has the stuff to become a diamond. You're born with it. And the gifts are buried. So principle number 2 is you're buried. The gifts are buried, yet to be developed and discovered. The trajectory is buried, waiting for you to unearth it, to find it out, to let it come to be, to work with it. Principle number 3 is the pressure. Good Lord, the pressure. You're going to go through a lot of pressure, and the whole game is, can you stay in it? Can you stand the pressure test? If you're not somebody who likes pressure, the entrepreneurial game is not for you. Like, God bless you, I love you, but this message is not for everyone. There are people who are like, nope, nope to that, nope. And it's so easy for people who don't prefer pressure to buy into the like feminine energy rhetoric of like, just let things come to you. Just take it easy. Just lay in the bath and like have orgasms and like just imagine things coming to you. That's one way. Then there's like the people of faith who are like, you know, the Lord will get it for me. I just have to lean on faith and cry out to the Lord. I don't know why I always do that in like a Southern accent, but like both camps are missing a huge element. The manifestation camp is missing the boat. The people of faith camp are missing the boat, because no matter what camp you're in, manifestation without aligned actions takes forever. You might die before you get the thing. Period. Okay. Faith without works is, go ahead and write in the comments. Manifestation without aligned actions does not manifest much. Faith without works is, but if you're going to take aligned actions towards things and you are going to operate in faith with works, you're going to experience pressure. You're going to experience resistance. This is normal. Anything worth having, there's going to be like a seeking for it. There's going to be a process. You're going to go through something. So we've got carbon. Principle number 1, you all have it. Number 2, you're going to have things that are buried, that are waiting for you to develop it and you to discover it. And the thing is, you could go to the grave with all of your carbon and all of your magic and never have developed the diamond. I like hearing like the old speakers, like the old motivational speakers who say that the richest place on the planet is the graveyard. And I find that to be true. Because all of us have the elements to make a diamond. And it's literally up to you to develop it. And so many people don't want the pressure. And so they never get the diamond. They never become the thing. You're born with it. You're made for it. Each of you have a certain something within that is waiting to be developed. A lot of it is buried. It has to be discovered. Discovered, developed, put through pressure, heat, and testing, and then unearthed before you will be paid for your value. And there's a lot of women in the online space who want to be paid for their value, but they haven't curated the gift because they don't want to sit in the pressure. So principle number 3 is pressure. I talked a lot about pressure and what that in real life terms looked like for us. Things like me sleeping in my car, polarity, serving celebrity and upscale clients during the day and sleeping in my car using a $5 Walmart towel. Putting our groceries on a credit card our first year in business. Thinking we were going to have like 3 different types of a business and none of it working until we found our way. There's a lot to be discovered. But tonight I want to talk about the next level. Because after pressure, once you're pressure tested, and it's like God, your destiny, your angels, your ancestors, the universe, whatever you think it is. When you go, yeah, I'm going to become a diamond. I see evidence. I've seen other diamonds. I could become that. I will become a diamond. There will come a point where it's like whatever you believe in kind of comes back to you and says, really? Oh, really? You're really going to do it? I'm going to send you some pressure. We'll see. We'll see if you're a diamond in the making. We'll see if you fold. We'll see if you quit. We'll see if after you cry, if you stay in the game. It's a game. Will you stay under the pressure long enough to gain tensile strength? Will you stay in the game long enough to become flexible? To have tenacity, to be able to roll with the crazy? Because in business, you want to become a diamond level entrepreneur, like one of the greats, sought after for value, significant, rare, and highly valued, highly paid. You will learn what it's like to have pressure and just be like, yep, I can handle it. I can handle it. And once you're pressure tested, then guess what happens? You've been under pressure. What's the next principle? Does anyone know what else happens to make a diamond? If you do, you can throw it in the comments. So we've got carbon, buried, real pressure. And once you've shown that you can handle the pressure, then comes fire. You're like, ooh, I'm good out here. I'm getting some traction. I got this. And then it's like, oh no, you've only just begun. You said you want to be a diamond? Oh, I got more for you, baby. Let's see what to do with a fire. What's next? So I'm going to candidly talk about some fire. Once we had the pressure, we went through the pressure, all the pressure, and then, we launched our makeup company. We did some wild things. I'm going to move my light because it's kind of far away. Hang on. There we go. Then we had fire. So tonight before I came live, I said, I was doing my makeup and talking to my husband and seeing the kids, and I was like, baby, can you remind me of some fires we've ever been through, like in our brand? And he was like, yeah. You mean like when our allies and best friends in business, somebody hashtag biz bestie, okay? I want you to picture your business bestie. Do you have a biz bestie, just by the way? Like, do you have the right people hanging around with you that you are like challenging each other and running side by side with to create your business? Do you have a biz bestie? Or is this a newer term for you, like a biz bestie? Do you have a biz bestie? Who's your person? Like, go ahead and tag them in the comments. Biz bestie. Who's your biz bestie? Tag them. Be proud of them. It's a big deal. So my husband's like, yeah. So remember, like, when your biz bestie saw the opportunity of what you were creating and copied your entire brand? And a picture of a person popped up in my head. And I was like, yeah. And then he said someone else's name. And I was like, well, fuck, this has happened a couple times. He's like, yeah. You've had this happen twice. Where your best friend in business has copied your entire business plan and then called all of your clients after they decided to go after your business. And I was like, fuck, I forgot about that. There was 2 of them. He's like, yeah, it happened a couple of years apart. Remember? And I was like, yeah, damn, that's a fire, isn't it? And no victimhood. Like, you know what's cool about that? It means you have something good going. If the people that you love the most are willing to sacrifice their relationship with you to copy your brand and then call your clients and recruit them, it means you fucking have something there. It can shatter your heart for a second, and it's a huge fire. Like, that's a fire. There's a difference between fire and pressure. This is a fire. This is no longer pressure. This is a full-blown fire. Like, your business is on fire. And I kind of take it as a compliment anymore. And please don't name names. But it's happened to me twice. And the first time was the most shocking. I was like, what do you mean? This person called you and said, what? Oh, yeah. She knows all your best clients. She's calling all of them. Well, fuck, that is a fire. And you know what? God bless them. God bless them. I hope that they're all doing so good. Like, I do not feel like a victim in any of it. It made me a stronger person. It made me better. I wish them all the luck in the world. I hope they do great with their beauty brands, all of them. I hope they do wonderful. God bless them. From the bottom of my heart, God bless them. I hope they fucking soar. But that was a fire. The first time I experienced that, and then the second time I was like, whoa. Yeah, my brand is on fire. Fuck. That's a fire. Okay, what's another fire that we've experienced that was just like, I thought I had pressure down. I'm like, I can handle pressure. I can handle pressure. Okay, fire. The time I flew to Las Vegas to meet with my tax advisor. And like, we had been doing like our own accounting. So like, it was hard. It was a lot of tracking. Like, every year for about the last 2 months of the year, my husband was like on his deathbed with stress. I shouldn't say on his deathbed, but like, he was like visibly stressed. You know when like you were around a man and they're visibly stressed? Yeah, that would be like my husband the last 2 months of every year, back when we did like all of our own stuff. And I remember like my husband turned in the numbers, and then I flew to Vegas to like meet with our tax advisors. And to be frank, like, our business wasn't profitable the first 3 years. So I went to that tax meeting with maybe a couple $100 in the bank. Like, we were skating on thin ice back then. It was like everything we made, we put back into the business. I wasn't taking a paycheck. I was like, slim living. if you're live and you can understand this, you can hashtag slim living. Like we were slim living. We lived in our friend's basement. We didn't even have a full-size refrigerator. We had a mini fridge for a couple of years. I cooked everything on a 2-burner hot plate. Yeah. It was wild. Like it was like from moment to moment, like you didn't really know what was happening, right? Had a couple of assistants that were making minimum wage to help me pack orders. It was like slim living. So I remember I flew out to Vegas and we maybe had a couple $100 in the bank, and I'm sitting in this tax meeting with our tax advisor, and he turns the computer screen to me and he shows me my, what is it called? Tax liability, which is like, that means like the number you have to pay the government. So he's like, yeah, so your tax liability, flips the screen, is $20,000. Like, have you ever had one of those moments where like your stomach feels like it's like a two-ended like cramp. It's like you want to hurl. Like you're like, what did you say? And like the bottom of your stomach is like, oh, I'm gonna shit myself. Like it was that for me. I was like, I had never, at that moment in my life, I don't think I had ever even had $20,000 in the bank. And I was like, what? Like it's nervous laughter. I was like, it's like the hot flash moment. I can't breathe. I can't breathe. What did you just say to me? I have a $20,000 tax bill? And I was like, okay, so this is just me. This is part of my entrepreneurial journey before I really began to like reparent myself and learn energetics and really heal. I didn't understand that anger is not a primary emotion, it's a secondary emotion. So the primary emotion for me was fear. Like I was terrified. I felt very small. I felt very unsafe. I felt surprised. I felt taken off guard, and I was very confused because I was like, how? And thank God, after doing the work of an entrepreneur and like learning numbers, I became really fast at math. And I was like, hang on. In order for me, like as I'm shaking and like trying not to throw up and like having a hot flash in this guy's office in Vegas, I was like, hang on. In order for me to have to owe $20,000 in taxes, that would have meant that I would have had to profit at least 60 grand. Because I'm no dummy. And 30% of what I make, if $20,000 is owed, that would be 30% of 60 grand. So what you're saying to me is your report is showing that I'm positive 60 grand? Because that for sure fucking didn't happen. Like, I'm certain. And he was like, oh, hang on. Like, and as I'm like sweating in this guy's office, like I'm on fire. I'm like, fuck. How could I owe the government $20,000? I don't have $20,000. It's going to take me a long time to make $20,000. Shit. Tiffany said, if you don't know, Tiffany Rose Quinones is a beautiful shade of caramel. And she just said, oh, wow, I think I just turned white. Essentially. Yeah. And so he took a closer look and I was like, there's no way. Like I didn't make 60 grand. Like we're in the negative. Like, how could that be? And he looked real close and he said, oh, I typed in a number wrong. let me excuse myself. I think it just melted into the fucking floor. Oh, I had so much money trauma after that day for like a few years. Oh, I excused myself to the bathroom and I was like, I calmed myself down because I was pissed. I was so mad. I was like, you motherfucker. You don't know what you just did to me there. And like, to him, he deals with $1 million brands and like people who are like multi 7 figures every day. And it's like, they can fart in the wind and it's 20 grand. And my little person, yeah, my little at the beginning person in business, that was me 3 years in, discovering my gifts, throwing shit at the wall, seeing what works, finally making some money. I had been pressure tested and that moment was a fire. And I had to think so fast on my feet. Like if I hadn't thought fast on my feet and put the freaking fire out and been like, hang on. My whole life is on fire. What do I do? If I didn't sit there and do some fast math, I wouldn't have even caught it. I probably would have paid the bill with a number in the wrong spot. That's a fire. Stuff like this will happen to you. You want to be a diamond? Carbon, buried, pressure, fire. Fire. I felt like I was on fire that day. And then I just was so mad. I was like, you motherfucker. I know that I'm making peanuts and I'm just a little small fry in your book, but like, my God, are you kidding me? You just told me I had a $20,000 bill that didn't exist. Fuck you. That's anger is a secondary emotion. My primary emotion, now that I look back, I was terrified. This was little me at the beginning of my business, just cutting my teeth on multi 6 figures and getting told like, oh no, you owe the government more than what you have in the bank. Like, wow, that's called a fire. Have any of you had a fire before? People who you think are your allies choose money over you and then go after your clients. Wow, that's a fire. You got to think fast on your feet. You have to make public statements. You have to deal with people in your inbox going like, did you know that people are copying everything that you do? I'm aware. I'm very aware. Thank you. Thank you for reporting it to me. Thank you for your loyalty. My business is on fire. Yeah. Been there. Done that. Got the t-shirt. Finding out that you have a bill that's bigger than the money in the bank, that's called a fire. Your business is on fire. Your life is on fire. Your bank account is on fire. It's on fire. That's on the way to a diamond. I asked my husband, I was like, what else has constituted a fire? He was like, oh, remember the pandemic? So for those of you who are newer to my company, a lot of people already know this story, but like we had done close to 7 figures with our beauty brand. So that was our first $1 million baby, was the beauty brand. And then the pandemic happened and we got an email from our manufacturer and they were like, yeah, so we can't source the raw ingredients to make your top 7 products. And I was like, okay, for like how long? And they're like, indefinitely. I'm like, what do you mean indefinitely? Like as in we don't know and maybe never. So what would you propose that we do? Buy as much as we have right now and cross your fingers. Okay. Business on fire. It's funny I say that as Jody Hostetler's on. Hi, babe. Good to see you. She's experienced this as well. I was like, okay. Think fast. Because what do you do in a fire? You think fast and you either run and save everything that you can, or you put the fire out and make your next move. Literally, if you desire to be highly paid, highly valued, sought after, like a diamond, you're going to have to cultivate a rarity where you don't just run and give up and cry. You might cry for a day. You might cry while you sort through the ashes, and then you rise again like a freaking phoenix. This is the making of a diamond. We've had it be where we had hired and trained a team and they had to leave suddenly. That happened in the pandemic. We had 2 teammates that were hired and trained and they had to leave the same week. We're like, wow, we have a newborn and companies. Our brand is on fire. What do we do? There is a resilience that is built in women that don't have the inner workings to only sit and cry. Because I promise you, I've sat and cried a lot of days. But then you move. Somebody write hashtag the process. This is the making of a diamond. We said to ourselves, okay, we just put about $30,000 into creating a content vault based on this makeup brand, which now we can't sell. Awesome. What now? And that took us to creating this graphic in summer of 2020. This was right after the pandemic. This was my first graphic for a micro course, a $99 micro course. And we had to go from like, we're screwed, the business is on fire, to being like, okay, let's literally salvage anything possible. Let's warn our clients. Let's let them know. And then we have to move. Like, God bless it if there's a possibility that maybe we get to do this again and, you know, our makeup ever can come back into stock. Like, cool, if we can ever do this again. And it did. We switched manufacturers and we worked it out. Like, we literally, in the middle of the pandemic, we switched manufacturers so that we could continue our work in the beauty world. And it was a literally 2-year process. It was so long and arduous, and we learned so much and fucked it up so many times. But there's a reason why diamonds are paid for at a high value. When people watch my life and they go like, how is it that you make consistent back-to-back 100K months? How did you get like this? How did this happen? Why is it that everything that you launch, pretty much something crazy happens or something sells? How is it that everything that you touch eventually turns to gold? And what I want to say is like, this is the process. It didn't look like this at the beginning. It looked like buried. It looked like the unknown. It looked like the inklings and the seedlings of something that could be great. It looked like people saying like, Like, you're a $1 billion baby. And I'd be like, I'm fucking crying and sleeping in my car. What are you talking about? People were speaking millionaire over me and saying, like, you have so many gifts. You're going to impact. You're going to speak in so many places. I want to know who here has had people say, or you've had visions yourself of speaking over like crowds of hundreds of people or thousands of people. Who are my speakers in the making? I have to know. Who are you? Like, write speaker in the comments if you resonate with that. Because I had people saying that to me. And one of them is in the millionaire's desk. She had a full-blown vision of me, like, speaking. Huge. Back in, like, 2013 or 2014, before I could see any of this. I could see none of it. And I just cried. Because I was like, how? Like, that resonates, and how? And this has been the process. It looked like nothing. It looked like carbon buried. It looked like gifts that had to be developed. It looked like unearthing. And on the way there, it was so much pressure. And I can tell you, it was like water to my soul when other entrepreneurs would tell me their stories and they'd be like, I went through this, and then 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 I conquered this, and I came through this. I was in so much pressure, and then there was fire, and when I thought that the fire was over and we were on the next level, then there was a cut. Like, might sound dark, but like, I watched the movie Joy so many times because I was like, I have to know that there's more than what I'm seeing and feeling right now. And it wasn't water to my soul when I would hear people say, it gets to be easy. Making money gets to be easy. And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? And now I get what they're talking about. It's not that it's easy, it's that they're unshatterable. They've been through fire. They've been through pressure. They've slept in cars. They've had to think on their feet. They've had to speak up against authority. They've had to face public persecution. They've had to face embarrassment. They've had to make PR statements. They've had to receive strange critique from people that will never understand what they're doing. They have to think fast on their feet in a law office in Vegas and say, like, I know I'm not the expert here, but I'm pretty sure your numbers are off. They've had to field phone calls where they say, like, I'm really sorry, but we can't do anything for you anymore. They faced rejection. They've had their heart shattered in a million pieces and then gotten up the next day after a good cry and move. It makes you unbreakable. And a lot of you that are watching have been in the season of buried. And if that's where you are, but you know you have a gift, the carbon is within, it's buried, you're in the pressure. My encouragement on night number 1 last night was stop living like you have unending time. There are some of you who think you have 10 years to develop this thing, and you're in the prime of your talent, your gifting, your career. Literally, stop acting like the time is limitless. Dedicate a year of your life to developing. Develop the skill, develop the talent, develop the raw stuff that's in there. Get around the right people who can help you field the pressure. who can walk side by side with you, arm to arm with you, shoulder to shoulder with you. Masterminds are a freaking amazing place to do that with people. Literally stand shoulder to shoulder with other women entrepreneurs who are walking in the same direction with you, that when you're under tremendous pressure, they're just going to be like, baby, it's just another Wednesday. You're stronger than this. You're made for this. Your calling is greater than this. No hate out there can defeat the love within you. You're made for impact. Your voice is meant to be heard. Your destiny is bigger than any of this pressure. Don't buckle. Don't fold. You can cry, and then let's get back out there, because you're a diamond. If you're live, can you please just comment, like, get the right circle? This matters more than you know. And some of you have to get the right circle and dedicate yourself to a year of literally developing your gifts. So there's that group of people, principles wise. Like, that's, if you're in like 1 and 2, carbon and pressure, if that's where you're at, you have to get the right circle and develop the gifts. Shameless plug, Locked and Loaded is a phenomenal place to develop your entrepreneurial gifts, hands down. Then there's some of you who are in a different season of this, and the season that you're in is literally like pressure and fire. Oh my God, Kim Irwin. Hey girl, I just saw your name pop up. I just saw your bubble. So some of you are part of like the diamond process of like, okay, like you are beyond the beginnings and you're like, okay, now it's pressure and it's fire. Pressure and fire. And the thing about this is like the 2 answers still stand. Get the right circle. Because so many of you are talking to the wrong people about this problem. Diamonds are rare and exclusive because there's like a finite amount of carbon that becomes that. And the same is true with people. There's a certain type of woman entrepreneur that gets paid to speak, that gets on stages, that writes books that actually sell, that launches courses that people say yes to, that puts their offers out on social media in terms of one-to-one mentorship or masterclasses or private coaching, and people recognize the value and the rarity and say like, yeah, that's worth the price tag. It's rare. That's why there's hundreds or thousands of coaches. And there's a select few that are in the 1%. There's not a ton of millionaire coaches. I know you can think of a few. Like, I would be shocked if all of you didn't know like a couple millionaires. Like off the top of my head, I can think of probably like 10 of my peers or friends or even my mentors who have crushed the $1 million marker, but it's rare. And they have so much strength. They've been through fire. They've been through pressure. They've been pressure tested and they've been cut. They've been formed. They've been shaped. They've literally been crafted into a masterpiece in the hands of a master. Are you picking up what I'm throwing down? There's so many of you who you've started to develop these gifts and you've put yourself out there in business and you've tried a couple things, right? You're now in the stage between pressure and fire. You're in between worlds. And you're talking to the wrong people about it. Like, God bless your parents. But many of us don't have millionaire entrepreneurs as moms and dads. Like, that's not the level that my parents were playing on. And so at the beginning of my journey, I talked about this last night, I felt incredibly lonely. I didn't feel like I had somebody to call when I was sleeping in my car, trying to like fund my dreams because I was like, no one is going to understand this. Like, people don't get this. They probably think I'm nuts. Like, who sleeps in their car and puts $60,000 on credit cards so that they can, like, test and see if their business model will work? Like, who does that? I didn't want to hear it, you know, necessarily from my parents. I didn't want to, like, call and be like, hey, can you throw me $200 tonight? I'm sleeping in my car. I want to book a hotel and take a shower. I didn't want to hear it. I didn't want them to be like, how the fuck are you living in LA? Right? And I don't think my mom would have ever said that. She probably would have just said, I would love to help you, but I don't have money to help you. That's probably what my mom would have said. I got my own stuff, baby. And I sense that my dad would have really read me the riot act because he loves me, but like he went the safe route. He worked in a job for years and years and years and years. That was a great job. And then he retired and he slowly built a lot of wealth with a job that was stable and guaranteed. So like they don't get it. And some of you are on literally the edge. Like, I don't think you're catching it even, how close you are. You're literally on the edge. You're like in the fire season. And you do not have the right people around you to be like, yeah, that's normal. Like, here's how you put a fire out. Here's what you say. Here's what you do. Let me show you the next moves. And instead, you're talking to your friends who are not entrepreneurs. And they're giving you crazy advice like, maybe you should just quit and go home. Wrong circle. Wrong person to tell that to. Like, wrong person to confide in. Like, they love you and they don't get you. Not everyone is made for this. And not everyone is made for this masterclass. Not everyone is made for this message. This message is strong. But this is for the person who's like, no, I freaking know that I'm multi 6 and 7 or 8 figures in the making. And I don't buy this rhetoric of like, it gets to be easy. No, you develop into something unbreakable. It doesn't get easy. You become unbreakable. You become the type of person that receives the news that people are copying your brand again, and you're just like, yeah, I'm worth copying. I'm worthy of being copied. Of course there's cubic zirconia. Of course. There's money in that. There's people who can't afford me, so they buy the next thing. Or there's people that don't even have access to me. And so they buy the thing because they don't even know that I'm here. They don't even know that what they're buying is a copy. They have no idea. Like, God bless them. I hope it all works out. Sincerely. Do you see? It's a different strength. It's a different level to face conflict and be like, uh-huh. Jordan said, knock off Gucci. Yeah. I buy knockoff Gucci for my kids, though, because I love that stuff, and I don't want my 3-year-old to fuck up a Gucci tee, so she gets knockoff Gucci. But it's cute. My friend Kendall sells that. Hit her up, Kendall Watts. She's awesome. I love me some knockoff Gucci apparel for babies. But that's the vibe. It's like you get to this place in your entrepreneurial journey where like the stuff that would have shattered me years ago, I'm just like, it's another Wednesday. Okay. And a big piece of that has been the inner healing work that I've walked through. Understanding my emotions, understanding the frequency of energetics. It's the stuff that I taught in Iconic today that will change your freaking life. The clients who are part of Iconic today, I said things in there that it's literally the secret to my success. And it has to do with energetics and emotions, my healing journey. There's so many people who have like privately lately just said like, thank you for healing publicly. Thank you for walking the journey of going from where you were to like where you are publicly. Thank you for creating a model. Thank you for not hiding it. Thank you for showing it. There's reparenting that I had to do. Not that my parents weren't good people, because they're great people. Yeah, let's stop blowing up on Marco Polo. I love you, but stop it. I should have shut off my notifications. That's on me. Man. It's been a reparenting process. It's been an emotional intelligence process. It's been a healing journey. It's been a raising my standards journey. It's been a putting myself into the hands of a craftsman. Because you're going to get to a place where you're like, ooh, I'm doing good. I made 5K. I did the thing. And then you put yourself in the hands of people, situations, and if you're smart, a craftsman. And you allow yourself to be created into a masterpiece. Now, I used to go for like the people who would slice and dice me. I think I want to continue this conversation more tomorrow, but I'm going to start it here because I said a word, reparenting. Did you guys hear that? Reparenting? If you did, write reparenting in the comments. Depending on how you grow up, there's something around the energetics of emotions that if you are a little girl and you get very much disappointed, let down, abandoned, hurt, just let down by people in power, leaders, parents, it throws you from being a child and it thrusts you into masculine energy. And that energy feels like I can trust no one. I have to take care of me. I have to save myself. And people letting me down is normal. People hurting me is normal. Watch this. If your definition of leadership is that it's normal for people to ignore you, abandon you, abuse you, let you down and crush you, if that's your definition of leadership, then you will normalize that in pastors, teachers, lovers, and coaches. You hear me? This is your normal. So when you encounter a pastor or a religious leader who publicly humiliates you, ignores you, hurts you, frustrates you, compares you, and otherwise shames you, and uses the Bible or some other scripture to like literally minimize you to about this tall until you submit and obey. If you've normalized that from childhood, you thrust yourself into masculine energy and you go, okay, well, what do I have to do to fix it? I'll do anything to fix it. I just want you to love me. Because that's your definition of being parented. And the beautiful thing about us as women and diamonds in the making is that, like, we have the opportunity, and we actually subconsciously create the opportunity to fix this. So whatever you need to do to reparent yourself in your lifetime, you will subconsciously remanufacture whatever you had growing up into your next leadership positions. And you will create it and find it and be attracted to it in partners, lovers, churches, bosses, leaders, friends, and business coaches. Fuck. So the first several years of my journey in business, and this is not to point fingers at anyone, and I do not name names, and I did this with many people. At the beginning of my journey, I was just like, I just want someone to scream at me and put me through the ringer. And like, I just want someone to kick my ass. Like, have you ever felt like that? You're just like, I just need a coach to kick my ass. I normalized being screamed at, yelled at, humiliated, embarrassed, squashed, crushed, yelled at, told what to do, belittled, my ideas being told like, that's stupid, and forced into someone else's box. In 2018, it's like I woke up. I actually had a divine encounter at the Baltic Sea, just walking along the ocean, not the ocean, but like the sea by myself. And I literally had like a divine encounter where I realized, like, I'm not available for this anymore. Like, this isn't helpful for me. I'm ready for something else. And early 2019, like January 2019, began what I would call a reparenting process for me. And I'm not blaming my parents. Like, I'm not saying this about anything. It's just the way that I grew up. My brother died when I was like about 2, and my parents, split. Because typically when a child dies in a family, it does one or two things. It either drives the couple together like unshakably, or it drives them to like apart irreparably. It's like one or the other. And in our family, it was like no, we're done. And so being like a 2-year-old, watching like my family kind of fall apart and whatever, it was a letdown. So I'm not pointing fingers at my parents. It's just, that was my story. So little girl me had this massive disappointment and like felt all these big emotions, threw me into masculine energetics as a little girl. And so the rest of my life, it's like I duplicated and replicated and found people that I could reenact this situation with, toxic as it might have been, until I could fix it or heal it or get a different result. And this is just a pattern that women do. And there's some of us who are a diamond in the making, and you're so close. You're like, oh my gosh, you've been through the pressure and the fire, and you're ready. You're a diamond uncut. Like, you're ready to be shaped. And your relationship with leadership so far has been like, I just need somebody to kick my ass. And like, I'm ready. Cut me. I don't care how bad it hurts. Hit me. And you walk into mentorship expecting to be hit. You walk into mentorship and you're shocked when somebody's nice to you because you're like, you're nicer than my pastor has ever been. Like, I keep waiting for you to get mad at me. Like, I keep waiting to hear that I'm stupid or that that's not a good idea, or waiting to be humiliated. because that's your relationship with the maker, with a craftsman, with a coach, with a mentor. Yeah, wow. And you've normalized going in for mentorship and being crushed and thinking that that's what mentorship is. And in my opinion and in my experience, there's so much more than that. So many of you who are watching right now, you're like this far away from diamond, from being seen as valuable and rare and well paid for. You've already been through so much. The carbon, the being buried, the pressure, the fires. You can think really fast on your feet. Like, you're ready to be shaped. You're a diamond uncut. Like, you're ready. And this is the part where I want to make an important distinction for you. Whether it's me or whether it's someone else is up to you, but when you decide that you're ready to be shaped, there's some things that you want to look for. When I look for mentorship, I look for another diamond. I don't just want them to look sparkly. I want them to have like clarity from the interior. You've heard this, right? Like color cut clarity. Like, I want someone that I feel love from the inside. I want someone true. I want someone kind. Like, I want someone who will tell me the things that are necessary for me to hear, but I want them to speak it in truth and kindness. I'm no longer available for someone to just slash me to get a cut. You know? I want someone who sees my potential. I want someone who wasn't threatened by me. I want somebody who's going to treat me like they're raising up their peer in the industry. I want someone who isn't walking around with festering sisterhood wounds. You know? I want somebody who sees me as the next great one. I want someone who isn't threatened by my bigness. I want someone who's going to speak to me the necessary things with truth and clarity and love. You can find craftsmen everywhere who will cut you, who will shape you into their version of a diamond. But then you'll find an artist who can see your uniqueness, who can complement everything that you've already walked through and work together with you to become like rare, sparkling, pure, true, sought after, significant, greatness unleashed, the thing that people pay for. Dana, yes. Yeah. Yes. So I have a couple of invitations for you. We've talked through principles tonight of the making of a diamond. We've gotten to the place of a diamond uncut. And so if you know that you're ready for a next move in terms of the right circle, right? The right peers, walking shoulder to shoulder with another woman, or if you're really ready to be shaped as a diamond by someone that's not here to just slash and slice, but here to create a masterpiece with you, an artist, I have a few things going on for you. I'm going to start with what I think is one of the coolest And I'm going to go from, I'll go high ticket to like premium pricing stuff to like super entry level access stuff. Does that sound fair? So let's start at the top with premium pricing. In 2023, I do have private coaching available, and it's my most premier offer. There's zero wiggle room around what I'm about to say. My devotion to my private clients is insane, and it takes a significant amount of love, clarity, me being clean and pure to give my clients this level of devotion. So in 2023, I have only 3 spaces available for private coaching, and this is my most premium space. So it's $33,000 for this experience. $33K, paid in full upfront. That price is going up again January 1st. This is for pretty much not many people. Like, you have to really want privacy. This is for someone who has trade secrets or a lot of private information that they want to be discreet about. They don't want to discuss their business, their processes, their finances, or their personal lives in front of anyone else. This is for discretion. And this is a private line between you and me with a minimum of a 3-month container. So it can be 3 months, but it has to be paid in full upfront, no wiggle room, no payment plans. That's like, you want to sculpt a diamond really fast. That's the vibe. And if you've never heard of someone charging these types of prices, I kind of want to explain the basis for it. If you wanted to make $500,000 and you walked with someone for a year and they could show you how to make $500,000, wouldn't it be fair for you to pay them like 10%? That is the basis for private coaching. That is the basis for high-level masterminds, which is what I'll talk about next. When you know for certain that you're on the trajectory to make a lot of money in your life and you want to collapse the time around the process and you want to work with someone who will help to shape you and who will encourage you on the days when you're like, oh, my shit's on fire. You want to have those conversations with the right circle. That's the point. And you can expect to invest a minimum of 10% of what you want to make. So when I wanted to make $1.2 million, I spent $120,000 to be mentored closely. And for me, that works. That's my expectation when I want to grow. Minimum 10% investment upfront. Does that make sense? So if you want to make $100,000, you should expect to invest 10%. If that's landing for you, can you put 10% in the comments? When you know you're on the path to 6 figures, it makes sense for you to invest in things that are like 10% of that, like a $10,000 business mastermind or business course. Do you see the 10% rule? When you want to become a millionaire, it makes sense for you to spend 10% of that to be mentored closely, which that's the game I play. I spend a lot on mentorship and I extract the value and I go 10x it. That's who I am. That's my parameter. That's my standard. So you can expect in all reality to spend 10% of whatever your financial target is for mentorship. And when you want it to happen faster, you can expect to pay more. The closer that you get to work with a mentor and the more frequently you speak with them, that number drives up. So if you're someone who wants to talk to me literally 3 days a week, private line, like private mentorship, 3 days a week, a private line, just you and I'm focused on helping you become a masterpiece, it's going to be $30,000. Paid in full, upfront, no wiggle room, no cancellations, no refunds, no money back, period. If I'm going to teach you how to make hundreds of thousands of dollars, you better bet I'm going to take my cut upfront. That's how this works. I didn't get to negotiate with my mentor and say, I'd like to pay you in, prayer. Will you take my manifestations for payment terms? Like, no. She's like, if I'm going to help you make $1 million, you're going to give me 10%. I'll take $120,000 from your PayPal. Thank you. That's the deal. And then it's up to you to go make it happen. I hear my daughter just being a dinosaur. Like, at the end of our time together, I couldn't be mad at her and be like, I didn't become a millionaire yet. Like, it's up to me to go make that happen. I'm about $100,000 away from 10xing that particular investment, because if I spent $120,000, then I extract out of the experience the skill, and that I go do the things, and I'm super close to 1.2 million since that investment. But that's to be expected. So I just kind of want to lay the groundwork for this when I speak about pricing, because this is normal. But unless someone explains to you like your profitability and how people invest in mentorship, this can be like, what the fuck? You charge people $30,000 to talk to you on Voxer and Marco Polo? Yes, I do. Period. And I give tremendous value, and I hold nothing back. And I expect that I'm raising my next peers in the industry. I expect some of my clients to outperform me in their lifetime. I expect that they're going to walk in with a certain level of skill, and they're going to add mine on top, and they're going to rise. And I expect that, like buying diamonds, like I'm one of their diamonds in their jewel box, and they're going to find another mentor, and they're going to take what we learned together, and they're going to go take that other mentor stuff, and they're going to stack it on top, and their value is going to rise again. That's normal. I've had over 25 different mentors so far, and the number keeps on climbing, and I keep on adding to my value and my net worth, because I keep on stacking and putting myself in the hands of craftsmen and craftswomen, and implementing and keeping my feet in the fire, and running back to my mentors and being like, this is fucking crazy. They're like, yeah, welcome to another Wednesday. I had this happen before. Here's how I handled that. And I'm like, a masterclass. Okay, I am watching your life, and your life is a masterclass. Thank you for teaching me how to handle this. I'll be back later with more results. That's what it is, okay? So my private mentorship is $33,000, paid in full for 3 months. You can do a year with me for $100,000. It's only 3 days a week. It's voice only, no calls. That is what it is. And I have no wiggle room on that. The second way that you can work with me in 2023, which I think is fire, is it's called MDM. That's like the shorthand for it. It's $1 Million Mentorship. And that's a space that's going to be open until the end of May. So the first 6 months of the year, January, February, March, April, May, 5 months of the year, sorry. So 5 months. After that, I'm taking a break. I'm going to chill. I'm going to take the summer off and decide what I want to do with my high-level mastermind after that. So my highest level mastermind, MDM, is open now until the end of May. And that place too, as well, although it's not private, it's group, it's a mastermind, that space is also $30,000 paid in full. If someone truly wanted to join and they want to do a payment option, you can do 2 months back to back. Their first installment would happen now for $15,000. Your second installment would happen in January for $15,000. So again, it's a paid in full experience up front. There is no payment month to month option anymore. What I can tell you about this space is it is a sacred sisterhood. You're not just walking with me, you're walking with other women who are on the trajectory in their heads and hearts of 7-figure earnings. That's why it's called the $1 Million Mastermind. This isn't for someone who just wants to make 6 figures. This isn't for someone who wants private coaching either, because you're in a space with other women. And one of the greatest things about this space is that you're going to heal a lot of your stuff around trust, around competition, because you're walking in sisterhood with other entrepreneurs. And sometimes that's an even bigger healing journey than entrepreneurship itself. In this space, you have access to all of my programs, recordings of all of my programs for the last couple of years. So whatever you need is in terms of tools, you've got stuff to tap into. You have access to me 5 days a week for the first 5 months of the year. That space is $30,000, paid in full or to pay for it. 2 months back to back. Those are my two most premier places. They're the closest access to me. And because I'm a mom of two and we have 5 companies, I'm not fucking around with my time. Those are the two places where you're going to get the most access to me. And that's why the premium is on them. And they're going to be more expensive next year, period. Probably with less access. The latter half of the year is going to be less access. So if you were like, I've been wanting to work with you, I've been watching you, I've known about your high-level mastermind, like this is the moment to move. From there, I'm going to jump into what I feel is like it's like the baby. I don't even have words for locked and loaded. If you're in locked and loaded, say something, because you probably have words for locked and loaded. But locked and loaded is one of my most standard offers, and it is the place where entrepreneurs are born. This is the place where you not only discover what you're made of, but we develop your skills. It's all of my programs for a year. And when I say develop your skills, there's a lot of people who teach emotions and energetics, and like that's the whole thing. And they're motivational speakers, and they will teach you in terms of like telling stories. But what I do inside of Locked and Loaded is I actually teach the basics of business. It's everything that I had to learn to go to 6, multi-6, and 7 figures. It's brand messaging, branding, photo shoots, copywriting, launches. Like, how do you do a masterclass? Sales funnels. It's everything that it took for me to launch not only a physical product business, but a mentorship. And we do it all inside of a year. It's the all access pass to all the things for a year. And on top of all the programs, you also get a VIP day with yourself, myself, and your peers. Every single month, I dedicate one day to just masterminding with my clients in there. The whole day long. Right now, I want to say, Jesse or Raven, if you can confirm for me, I believe yesterday our 22nd person joined for January. So we now have 22 women inside that space, and I do consider it a mastermind because not only do you have that VIP day with me once a month, but we leave the chat open, which means you have like a voice chat channel with all of your peers the whole month. When I said you need the right circle, this is what I mean. You want to change your life? Change your circle. Put yourself in the hands of a craftsman and change your circle. Be around people who will pat your back and cheer you on and let you cry on their shoulder. And also they're going to tell you, like Kelly, it's just another Wednesday. You're made for this. You're cut out for this. We've got you. You've got this. Let's go. Oh my gosh. Jesse just commented as me. There's 22. So we have 22 women in Locked and Loaded, which is the all access pass for a year. Mastermind, VIP days, all access pass to everything. That space currently is going for $11K. And I mentioned this last night. That is the lowest pricing option that you're going to see ever again. On Friday, the price goes from $11K, which it is right now. It's going to bump up to $15,000 for the year. So if you're somebody who makes decisions based on like, I gotta sleep on it, I gotta think about it, I don't know, I fully respect you. And I also want to say you got like a day and a half to think about it. And then the price goes up. So it's not saying that it closes. It's just you'll pay $4,000 more if you don't decide. And I kind of fully expect some people to jump in at 15,000 because that's how I buy. I wait and I wait and I wait and I wait and I watch the price go up and then I go, shit, I wanted that. Give me the bill. So I'm sure there'll be people that buy it at 15K. That's fine. But if you like a deal, it's now 11K. There's also payment plan options that are $1,111 per month for a year. Jesse, what's the math on that? If you do payments for locked and loaded, so 1111, 1,111 times 12. Can you throw me what that number is, Jesse, in the comments? Because I'm just interested in the math. It's like I want you to see in real time in numbers. If you make payments on it, I want you to see what your total will be at the end of the year versus doing it paid in full. So we've got locked and loaded happening for 11K for the year or payment options. Then the last thing that I want to talk about tonight is more just like the emotional healing side of stuff. Raven says Raven and Jesse both said, if you do the payment plan option, it's $13,332. So basically you save $2,000 if you pay it all in full. And our team will so help you out if you want to split it between a couple cards, whatever you need to do to make that happen. If you want to get the $2,000 off and just pay it all in full up front. So just reach out to my team. You can message me privately if you're like, yeah, I want to split it between cards. We can invoice you. We'll help you make it happen. I just want to normalize that because on my journey, many times I was like, I want this thing, but also like I have $2,000 on this card available. I got $4,000 over here. I got a little bit of money over here. And I would just make separate payments to make shit happen. And so I want to normalize that for you. Like if that's what it takes for you to be resourceful, we got your back. Don't be embarrassed. Like last thing I ever want you to do around me is be embarrassed. Like let's make this shit happen. All right, so that's locked and loaded, and I'm gonna move into something that is like probably one of my most accessible places for 2023, and a lot of it has to do with emotional healing. So I have, for 2023, a place called the Sisterhood. The Sisterhood. It's a cute little name, but once a month I do a training on energetics. If it kind of like interested you when I was talking about this thing about getting thrown into masculine energetics as a little kid and like reliving those experiences and finding, ways for you to like figure this out in terms of how you were parented. If those conversations interested you, the Sisterhood is a cool spot for you. So once a month we meet and I do a training on emotions and energetics, which is so fun for me. We do it on a community Zoom, so you get to actually meet your peers. Once a month we get together, we jam for about an hour or 90 minutes. Every month is a different training. I go through what I call the 10 tenets throughout the year to teach you emotional regulation. As a woman and as an entrepreneur, you're welcome either way. If you're not an entrepreneur, you're fine. Come on in. This is not a business training per se, but it does elevate your business. So the Sisterhood is available. That one is the lowest pricing thing that I think we even have. It's $44 a month or $444 paid in full. So that's a fun vibe. Bonus points, if you are not in it yet, there's something happening right now. We're about halfway through it, and it's called Clear to Soar. This program, I literally got an intuitive hit to pull it out of nowhere. I'm giving away $100,000 in mentorship inside of this space. It's 15 days with me for clearing energetic leaks, healing emotionally, and getting yourself ready and primed to soar in 2023. That's also available right now for $444. So if you're looking for more of like an entry-level option, a $44 subscription, $44 experience, we've got that for you. And we also have the invitations to my premier places. But this is only day 2. And I definitely have more in me for the entrepreneurs tomorrow. Let me know how you liked today. Was it a relief to hear this process? That you're not alone in feeling pressure, fire, feeling undiscovered, feeling buried, feeling like you've got to develop your gifts. When I tell you that this is normal and that I don't want you to feel alone. And that it is literally like balm to your entrepreneurial soul when other diamonds will be like, no, sister, like, I got you. And this is totally normal. And one day, this is not even going to shake you. The stuff that's freaking you out today, one day, it will be like a fart in the wind. You will sneeze at it. You'll get a surprise $20,000 bill and you'll be like, okay, I got it. You will find out that people are talking shit about you again or copied your whole business plan. And you'll be like, cool, send a cease and desist. Next. What's next on the agenda? Oh, private calls and masterclasses. Okay, next. Like, you're gonna get to this place. The things that shake you right now, one day you're gonna be unshakable. But let's get you in the right circle. And let's craft you into a diamond. So that's all for tonight. If you have any questions around the sisterhood, if you want links for that, if you'd like to join Clear to Soar, which by the way is rocking my world, I haven't even had words. There's 175 women in there, I think, total members in the group. And it has been like crazy, like the things that people are saying about that space. So much healing happening there. That's available now for $444. Just message my team if you want it, if you have any questions. And especially with Locked and Loaded, with the pricing going up on that, if you have any questions about that, about my high-level mentorships, just message us. We've got you. All right, I love you guys. I'll see you for tomorrow night for our final night. Probably the best night tomorrow night. I'll see you at 8. Okay, love you guys. Bye.